Hi everyone, welcome to our Wednesday Facebook Live. I'm Laura Martini for Yoga Teacher Prep, and today this webinar is for yoga teachers who are leading yoga retreats or who perhaps think that one day they would love to lead a yoga retreat. And often for yoga teachers, when you start teaching quite a bit and you build up a solid clientele base, yoga retreating is kind of the next step. And it's also a great way to build up your income and also have a great time traveling. So yoga retreating. Now, the number one thing I can tell you about yoga retreating when you're leading yoga retreats is how important it is to be prepared. So something you need to ask yourself is, what's the worst that could happen? Have I thought of everything that could happen potentially on this yoga retreat and prepared myself for how to manage everything that could happen? And, over the last 7 or so years, I've led 40 to 50 yoga retreats, everything from like weekend retreats to full week-long international getaways. And I'm trying really hard to make sure this webinar isn't like a laundry list of all the things that, all the horrible things that have ever happened on a yoga retreat. But a lot of stuff can come up, and a lot of stuff has come up in the past years that I wasn't expecting, or that really caught me off guard. Now, the number one thing I've learned about managing that, so when you're leading a yoga retreat and something comes up that you didn't expect or that you didn't plan for that's not good, is to keep your cool, okay? Your students on the yoga retreat are watching you, and if you keep your cool, it's easier for them to keep their cool. And so when you handle everything with a sense of tranquility and calmness, so you have this air, this energy of relaxed ease, everything is fine, then your students are going to feel more comfortable and at home with everything that comes up in a retreat. I'll give you an example. I'm trying hard not to rant and list all the things that have gone wrong, but one time I led a yoga retreat in Bali, and one of my students was bit by a monkey. And it was the first day of the retreat, and I was like, oh my God. And then we went to this healer in Bali, and she said that she told this girl that she was going to die. And so, of course, it was kind of dramatic, and all hell broke loose. And we were able to keep the situation calm and take her to a nearby hospital, and the hospital treated her. So the lesson that came out of that story was how important it is for your students to have medical insurance when they go traveling. So when you run a yoga retreat, as people are signing up, and also like a month in advance of the retreat, it's a good idea to send information that includes advice on getting medical insurance. And I'm in a situation right now where I've got another retreat in Bali that's coming up in a month, and I actually have to email everyone on the retreat today to talk about the situation in Bali with the volcano. So there's a volcano there that's about 50 kilometers away from the yoga retreat center that is scheduled to blow. So I've contacted the retreat center. We're contacting some of the airlines to get their advice. What should we do in this situation? What should we tell our students who are coming on this retreat? And the number one thing is to make sure you have travel insurance. Okay, so you as the teacher leading the retreat, but also encourage your students to get that travel insurance so that if something does come up, whether it's a volcano that explodes or some kind of a health issue, that they are covered if they do need to cancel. And oftentimes when you book a retreat, like even your flight on a credit card, sometimes that credit card will have travel insurance protection. So it's a good idea to look into that credit card or even like your medical insurance. Sometimes they have travel insurance as well, to ensure that you are covered fully, because the worst thing that could happen is that you're not, and something dramatic or drastic happens and you can't do the retreat. So you want to make sure your butt is covered. Also, in this situation, I've learned with this volcano in Bali to be really transparent and open with the retreat center who's hosting us. So, ask around what their policy is if we do need to cancel, how much of my money will be refunded because I've already placed deposits down, just so that I don't have to get stuck paying anything out of pocket, because that would ultimately be the worst possible thing, right? Okay, so just to recap so far, challenges that you want to pay attention to really be prepared for. Be prepared for, but hope for the best. Include challenges around health issues on your retreat. So my example was a yoga student who got bit by a monkey, and also security issues around having to cancel. So medical insurance and travel insurance. So right now the volcano that's in Bali is not making my Bali retreat in 3 weeks very easy to manage. Other things to think about really are the costs of the retreat. So really be mindful of how you manage all the added expenses that come up. Think about things like, eating your food to and from the retreat, right? That's going to be an expense that you'll need to make sure is covered, as well as your transportation, maybe an extra night before or after the retreat at a hotel, depending on how far away the retreat center is. I just led a retreat last weekend, like a local retreat, about an hour from where I live. And, as I was getting prepared to go, I had to stop for food on the way, and there weren't too many options. So I paid more than I would normally. And it might just seem like a couple pennies at the time, but these things do start to add up. I'll tell you another funny story about what happened on my retreat last weekend. So I lead wine and yoga retreats at local resorts in the area where I live, because it's famous for its wine. And I have these glasses that I ordered on Amazon. They're like hard industrial plastic wine glasses that I bring. And then when people arrive on my retreat, I give everyone like a welcome drink, a glass of wine with these glasses. And then I wash all these glasses and reuse them. And they stack together. They have this neat like clicking system, and they're really good quality, and they weren't cheap. Well, the housekeeper this weekend put all those glasses in the dishwasher and melted them completely. And so now I spent a lot of the day on Sunday checking out of my hotel arguing with the staff at the hotel about the glasses, and they didn't claim responsibility for it. So I was kind of upset. So that was a challenge that came up that I have not been used to, have not been accustomed to managing. So little things like that. And as a yoga retreat leader, there's going to be so many things that come up that you can't even imagine, that you can't even dream of. So I recommend before you go on the retreat, and even in the planning stages of the retreat, sit down and write down all the things that could potentially happen, right? All the horrible situations that could come up or mistakes that could be made. So that you can just have an idea about solutions around those if they do come up on your retreat. Something else that I find often comes up is issues around food for people. So whenever people register for my retreats, they have to fill out a form that where they indicate if they have any food allergies. Now, at this day and age, something that's interesting around that is food allergies is kind of a loose term. So there will be people who say, for example, eggs. I'll have like 5 people on a retreat put eggs as a food allergy. 3 of those people will die if they have a trace of egg. Those other 2 just prefer to not have egg. But if there's a fresh baked scone, they're fine. So getting a lot of clarity around people's food issues is really important, because you want to make sure that you're taking care of your guests and not killing them if they're allergic to eggs. So I now have like a whole bunch of clarity around food. When people sign up, I email them, okay, like how severe are you? Can you eat this, and this? Can you eat baked goods if you're allergic to dairy or egg, right? So getting clear on that, and I think is really important. I think your students will really appreciate that as well. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for watching. If anyone has questions, now is the time to ask them. I can see the questions that you comment on, or any comments or any horror stories of your own at yoga retreats. We're doing a whole bunch of work around yoga retreats this week, because we're running this really cool webinar that you can sign up for. We'll have the link for you soon in the next couple of days. That has the 5 mistakes that yoga retreat leaders make. So kind of, I touched on a few of them today, what we're talking about now, but way more in depth, and also a lot more stuff. They're kind of like the 5 main mistakes that people make that I really want you guys, as the member of our yoga teacher prep community, to avoid and not make those mistakes, so that your retreats can be successful. So, so stay tuned for that. We'll have the information for you for that shortly. We're almost finished creating it, and I'm really excited about it. It's a totally free video course that you can just watch whenever you want to, which I think is really neat, of me on my couch here, listening to 5 mistakes. Amy says, I just love that you're doing this and I'm really excited to do my own local retreat. You're amazing and so knowledgeable. Oh, thank you, Amy. Amy, congratulations. I saw that you are launching your first retreat. This was it called Sacred Waters or Sacred Spring? If I wasn't in Bali when that retreat is happening, well, maybe I won't be in Bali. Maybe the volcano will blow and I'll be here. Then I will come on your retreat. Incredible. So thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next week for our Facebook Live on Wednesday. And as always, if you ever have suggestions for the lives, please don't hesitate to send me a message or just comment below. And because we're always looking for new ideas for how we want to do the live. So all the best. Namaste. And we'll see you next week.